Here in SportsCenter and back to the NBA, LeBron may miss his first game of the season tonight when the Lakers host the Nuggets. LA listing LeBron as doubtful due to an injury to his rib cage area. Now, LeBron, who turns 35 next week, is averaging 25, 6, and 10 in his 17th NBA season, helping the Lakers get out to a 24-5 record, good enough for the top spot in the West. Dave Mcmenamin covers the Lakers for us. He's there at Staples Center right now. And Frank Vogel said yesterday, Dave, that it's a thoracic muscle strain. I had to look that up. Didn't know I had one. But what can you tell us about LeBron's status of only a couple hours from tip-off?
Yeah, Michael, I'm glad you pronounced it, not me. But it was not only the pulled rib cage, which is the common way to refer to that injury, but also he's dealing with a nagging groin injury. It's not the same side of the groin as last year that he suffered on Christmas Day, but perhaps a overcompensation type of situation as you try to come back from that major injury last year. Now, the expectation is that he will not play tonight against the Nuggets. I'm told that Christmas Day is still on the table. We still have 3 days until the Staples Center showdown between the Lakers and Clippers. But this will be the first time all season, he's played all 29 games up to this point, that he sits out. One point to be clear with our viewers is that it's not a load management situation. This is an injury he sustained against the Indiana Pacers. He tried to play through it against Milwaukee, and this little bit of the schedule to give him a chance to have 4 or 5 days in a row with rest only missing one game is what the team is trying to get ahead of and encouraging him to sit out.
Lakers back at home for the first time after going 3-2 on that road trip. The last 2 losses coming against Indiana and, of course, Milwaukee. The first time all season, Dave, they've suffered consecutive losses. So coming off those 2 losses, returning home with LeBron's status in doubt, how's the team responding?
Well, I mean, this will be a big test of Anthony Davis's resolve tonight. Coming back to Staples Center the first time they've really been home in nearly 2 weeks. Anthony Davis had a huge game in Denver the last time these two teams played. He completely shut down Nikola Jokic and made late-game defensive plays on Jamal Murray for the Nuggets. And with no LeBron, this will be the first time we get to see what the Lakers will look like without him. And the guy in the middle and really setting the tone on both ends is Anthony Davis. And so, there was a lot of talk in the locker room last week in Milwaukee saying, hey, we want to turn this thing around and go the rest of the year without having consecutive losses again. Well, let's see if they can make sure it's 1 win in a row versus 3 losses tonight.
Yeah, LeBron averaging 10.5 assists right now. It would be the most he's ever averaged in one complete season. We'll see how Anthony Davis picks up the slack. LeBron's not able to go tonight. Dave Mcmenamin live there in Los Angeles. Well, the Lakers, have barely gotten by when LeBron is off the court this season. They've outscored teams by just 9 points with LeBron on the bench. When the King is on the court, it's a little different story. Anthony Davis on the court, LeBron is not. Lakers actually have a negative point differential. Well, the Hornets taking on the Celtics in Boston. Celtics, by the way, 11-1 at home. It's the second best home record in the league, but who didn't care about that? Devontae Graham. He was scoring over whoever's in front of him. Who up next? You up next. 16 points in the first quarter. He was 5 of 6 from three-point range. Midway through the second, though, Celtics down 7. Kemba, former Hornet, off the screen, knocks down a 3. Terry Rozier, former Celtic, he splits the defense, finishes at the rim. Jason Tatum misses. Grant Williams. Strong for the Tennessee Vols. Celtics trying to put on the comeback in the first half, and they did exactly that. Walker knocks down a 3. They're up 3 at the half, 59-56.
We're getting ready, of course, for the college football playoff. LSU has rolled into town. They are ready to go. Of the 4 teams that are in the playoff this year, LSU is the only team that has previously not participated. So it's the maiden voyage for Coach O getting off the bus. That's your guy right there, Joe Burrow, that's led LSU to this point. So a little while ago, our Marty Smith caught up with Ed O.
How would you describe the past couple of weeks since you won the SEC championships? How many cities? How many stops? What's the schedule been like?
It's been a great time, to finish up recruiting all the award shows. We're very gracious for everything. that's been bestowed upon us at LSU. What a great tribute to our players and our coaches. But now it's ball time, it's focus time, it's playoff time. We got to get ready to go.
It's ball time. How have your players, based on what you've seen in practice, managed this layoff?
I think they've been fantastic. We had a great week of practice last week. We went home and rested Thursday, Friday, Saturday, came back today very focused. We're going to start our practice plan all over tomorrow. We'll be ready.
During his Heisman speech, Joe Burrow mentioned how impoverished southeastern Ohio is. And as a result of that, nearly $500,000, Coach, have been raised for that area's food pantry. What does that tell you about your quarterback's story?
You know, Joe has a big heart. Joe's a great young man. He remember where he came from. He's very humble. He is going to give back to this world as much as he possibly can.
He also had some really kind things to say about you. What was it like to hear him say how much you mean to the Burrow family?
Well, I was really appreciative, but I was shocked. I've never seen Joe that emotional, so it kind of got me a little bit. But obviously, we had a great run. Joe took a leap of faith. He believed in us. So as much as he's appreciative of LSU, believe me, LSU is appreciative of him.
You've had time to study Oklahoma now, obviously. What do you see from them now that you've studied them?
Jalen Hurts, C.D. Lamb. Explosive. This is one of the fastest teams I've seen on film. Give credit to their defense. They're only giving up 24 points per game in a league that scores a lot of points. Very athletic.
Appreciate you, Coach. Merry Christmas, and
go Tigers.
Take care, bud. Thank you.
Can't be official interview without that. Most wins against top 10 teams in a single season. For all the things they said about Coach O, turns out he's a pretty darn good coach with a pretty darn good quarterback. Right there with Saban, Jimmy Johnson, and the legendary Frank Leahy. They'll take on Oklahoma in the playoff opener next Saturday.